Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Do you want to go to the next slide? So again, welcome everyone. As we're waiting for anybody else to join, if you could rename yourself, you can go, as is shown in this slide, to the three dots in the upper right corner of your little video tile, and then click on rename, and then you can add, just make sure your full name, and if you have an affiliation or a neighborhood you represent, if you want to just add that. And then we can all know who each other is. We don't have time for full introductions, but we want to make sure that you get to meet each other. Nice to see you all. And 5:30 is now almost dark. Welcome to those who just joined. And if you just joined and you wouldn't mind renaming yourself so we can see your full name and affiliation if you have one. And your affiliation could be just your neighborhood. Instructions are on this slide. And I think we're probably about ready to start. If you want to go to the next slide, Ian. So for all of you who are here, most of you have probably used Zoom before, but just to make sure, in your menu bar that's in the lower part of your screen, most often, sometimes it's in the upper part, on the far left side is the mute button, and we ask that you stay on mute for the whole meeting unless you want to speak. And then to the right of that is the video button. And if you can try to keep your video on, as many of you are, it helps us all feel like we're part of an more in-person meeting. And then five spots from the left is chat. And if you click on chat, you can type in any comments, questions, thoughts that you might have during the main big full group time during presentations. You're welcome to type in any chat. We're going to capture all the chat, and people will try to be answering the chat questions as they come in. When you're in breakout rooms, chat is going to be really key to gathering more input. And we'll talk about that when we get there. And then lastly, 2/3 the way across, it says reactions. And if you click on the little arrow, all of these options pop up. But one in particular is raise hands if you want to raise your hand to ask a question. But you might want to just offer a reaction as well. Next slide. So tonight we have an hour and a half, 5:30 to 7. We have some brief overview presentations. And then we'll talk about Plan Tucson itself, what's happening, where we are in the process, that kind of thing. And then we have 5 topical working groups that have been meeting, and you're going to hear about that. And you're going to have the chance to share your feedback on the current status of what those groups have been working on regarding goals. And this will be explained, but you're going to have the chance to go to 2 of those topics in 2 rounds, and then we'll come back together. And it should be a really interesting meeting. So our main objectives are to share feedback on the most current set of draft goals and to offer you the opportunity to shape how those goals will be accomplished. And lastly, from me, basic working agreements, really try to listen open-mindedly and for understanding. A lot of really diverse perspectives and expertise in here tonight. Treat each other with respect and allow each other a chance to speak so everybody gets that chance. And if you can try to participate actively and avoid distractions with, again, your camera on as much as possible.
Thanks, Tani. Hi, everyone. I'm going to take a moment to introduce the team. Just also want to say thank you for taking some time to spend part of your evening with us. We're so glad to see you here. So my name is Amanda. I also work very closely with Ian Wan and Jessica Janisek. If you could just raise your hands and wave. We're all with City of Tucson Planning and Development Services Department. I'm also very excited to introduce a new member of our City of Tucson team, Cesar Acosta, who's joining us as the new project manager. Welcome, Cesar. So glad that you are here. We are part of the core team of Planning and Development Services, but we are just the tip of the iceberg. This project is much larger than ourselves. There's lots of other support across the city. We also have a team of consultants who are offering us a lot of support. Southwest Decision Resources is here today, led by Tani Robertson and Colleen. They help us organize all of our public outreach. Then we have Gordley Group, who is behind all of our beautiful graphics and marketing. They also help us as facilitators. And then finally, last but not least, the Planning Center is supporting the future growth map and other aspects of the plan. So thank you to all of them. Next slide, please. And so also thank you to all of you. A large part of the bigger team is all of the community. Community input really, truly drives this plan forward. And that's illustrated in Plan Tucson's guiding principles. As you'll see here on the screen, everyone is welcome. We do our best to center equity, build up and collaborate. We work hard to foster authentic participation and prioritize safety and accessibility of all of our events. And so since the community is the foundation of this plan, it's deeply important to us that we know more about all of you and who else is participating in our outreach. So we've put this QR code and the link there on the screen so that you can tell us a little bit more about yourselves. This information is completely anonymous, but it really helps us track our outreach, who we're hearing from, and we use that to update our approaches so that we can hear from all parts of the city as best we can. So please do take a little moment to take that survey at some point today or this evening. And with that, I'll pass it on to Cesar, our new project manager, to tell us a little bit more about what we're doing today.
Thanks, Amanda. So howdy y'all, glad to be a part of the team. We did just want to provide a little bit of context for tonight's forum and what the update process is for those who may be engaging with us for the first time. So Plan Tucson is the City of Tucson's general plan, which is a policy document that helps guide decisions for everything from land use and future development to policy on environmental protection and how we invest in social and cultural resources. The current general plan was approved in 2013. So to ensure that it remains relevant to our community and our decision-making process, Mayor and Council voted to update our plan, and that process began last year and will continue through 2025. In the first phase of our plan, or the first phase of this process, rather, over 2,000 individuals participated in events hosted by the city, and we collected more than 13,000 comments, both online and in person. We are currently in phase 2 of the process, where we have formed working groups that will focus in a specific theme on the plan that will help frame a community dialogue. And at the end of this phase, we will have a set of goals, policies, and a future land use map or a future growth map that will be a tool used to help guide the vision of Plan Tucson and make it a reality. Work on phases 3 and 4 will focus on finalizing and the overall document and bringing it to Mayor and Council for adoption. And finally, in 2025, you, the public, will be the ones to have the final say on election day for whether or not it gets ratified. Early in phase 2, we heard from the public that there was a desire for additional opportunities to engage in the update beyond the working groups. So these forums were added in order to provide additional opportunities to engage from members of the community who may not be able to meet during the day or with great regularity. And the forum tonight is virtual, but there will be opportunities, including this Saturday, to meet and provide insight in person. This first community forum will showcase the results of what the working groups have done so far. And from now through February on through next year, we will continue to refine the plan along with the working groups using community feedback to ensure we are consistent with the plan's vision for community and values. So the feedback received in phase 1 really helped create a vision for the plan that reflected the community's values. In this first section of phase 2, the working groups have used those values to begin drafting goals for what the city hopes to achieve over the next 10 years. Once we have finalized those goals, we'll move on to develop policies for the plan that will help achieve those ends. The basis for the next round of goals will lean heavily on Plan Tucson 2013, as well as a variety of other plans that have been adopted throughout from then till now. So everything ranging from transit, housing, economic development, environment, and many of the other plans that are not listed on this page are used as the basis for how we're developing our goals and policies. And many of you in the room, in fact, were instrumental in developing those plans. And so we just want to say thank you for providing a rich basis for Plan Tucson update. We are hoping to continue to work with y'all to ensure our recent and concurrent plans align with and support one another. So staff will and the working groups used Plan Tucson 2013 as a starting point, and then began synthesizing language from the more recent plans, what we heard throughout phase 1 in the outreach and surveys that we took, staff input through from 2013 goals, and what we had heard from the visioning exercises during the first round of working groups in order to create the first draft of the goals. These draft goals were written in a simplified manner with lettered components below showing a related concept to each of those goals. We asked the working groups for feedback on the first draft of these goals and letters components. And then using the feedback that the working groups provided, we made edits. And tonight you'll have an opportunity to see the next draft of those goals to get your feedback on what we may still be missing, what is essential, and anything else that we would like to share or that you would like to share. So we're going to be in this next little bit talking about those goals and the different themes that they were divided up into. But before we do that, we want to provide space to talk or provide a chance for any of you all to ask questions about the context of how we got from point A to today. So with that in mind, were there any questions on kind of the history of how we got from there to now?
And you can raise your hand with the reactions as we explained earlier, if you do have a question, or type it in the chat.
And if not, I can kick it back to Amanda and she can tell us about the exciting part of this evening.
Great, thanks. All right, so in a moment, we'll be opening up some breakout groups to discuss the goals and key components that we have in some detail. And so there's a lot of overlap between all of these different topics, but generally the conversations so far have been organized into the 5 broad topic areas that you see listed here. I'm going to share a little bit more about each one so that you can help decide which breakout groups you want to go to. When we do open up the breakout groups, we'll have 2 rounds. So as you're listening, consider which ones will be your top 2. And we know that time is going to be limited in our breakout groups. And so if you have more to say at the end, and we hope that you will, there's an online survey that you can fill out, and you can always reach out to us as well. This is going to be kind of more of a brief overview than a deep dive. So the 5 topic areas of the first one is, oh, that's okay. You can do next slide. Thanks. Community resources. So this is all things like public health and wellness. So we have community safety, general community development, and that includes things like the response and recovery after the pandemic and food security issues. Parks and recreation, both in the sports and fitness centers and like the open space elements of that. Support for unsheltered populations is in this group. And then areas where the city is more of a supportive partner, like public health and education, are also in the community resources group. Next slide. Our economic vitality group includes arts and culture, tourism, sustaining a positive business climate, jobs availability and workforce development, and then also regional and global positioning. Next slide. We have a land use, housing, neighborhoods, and design group. And this is going to be trends in land use, zoning, housing availability of all different types, including affordable housing, neighborhoods, and also urban design concepts, including historic preservation, and then also universal design and accessibility. Next slide. There we go. Transportation, mobility, and access is our fourth group, and so that's all things transportation, including complete streets, public transit, bike ped, and different shared mobility, streets, the conditions of our streets, as well as parking. ADA accessibility also shows up here, traffic safety, and then stormwater management, because the Department of Transportation manages our washes where they intersect with streets. Next group. Lastly, water, climate action, and green space. All things environment and natural resources, including waste management, environmental quality, energy, water, urban green spaces. So that would be like trees along right-of-ways, as well as some parks. And then also here, where we are more of a supportive partner, but it's very important to the city, all of the regional green spaces that surround our city, like Pima County and different federal lands. We can also talk about that here. Next slide, please. So again, you'll be giving some feedback on some goals. That's the bolded text. And then each goal is supported by a number of key components. That's the lettered list there. And so we hope that you'll give us feedback on the goal, as well as what's most important and anything that's missing from the lettered components. And all of this information will help us finalize the goals, at least come up with a next draft of the goals. Nothing's finalized until the end, of course, but then also all of the key components is going to be what guides the next phase with policy. So your help identifying what's most important and what's missing will be really helpful in that process. Next slide. Great. Jessica, the fun part begins.
Yes. So we were so fortunate that we have wonderful community partners that gave us some really, really great donations. So we are going to do a raffle between each of the rounds. And before we start our round, we will do our first raffle for a family pass to the Children's Museum. So I can share my screen now. Right, are we all looking at the spinning wheel here?
We see the wheel.
So the wheel is populated with all the names of the people who registered. So I'm going to go ahead and we are going to click to spin to see who will win a family pass for the Children's Museum. Again, graciously donated to us by the Children's Museum itself. John Bassa, are you here? Did you come today? If you have, if you are here, please holler at us. Let us know. If not, we can spin the wheel again.
I think you should spin again. I don't see her.
Don't see her. Okay, thank you. I know I was going to start removing and then I was like, people are coming late. What if they come late? So, okay. Don't want to leave anybody out. Stuart Moody? Colleen, you see Stuart?
I don't see Stuart either.
The drama. Okay, we don't want to waste too much time. We can't go too long.
I know, we got to get a winner though.
I know. Christine McVie.
I don't see Christina.
She is here. She's on the list.
I'm here.
Oh, I didn't see you. I'm sorry.
Hi,
Congratulations.
Colleen. Hi, everybody.
You have
Oh my gosh.
a family pass to the Children's Museum, and we will connect with you at the end of the meeting to make sure that we are able to, or through email, to make sure that we get that sorted out for you. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes. And now we're going to go through, and again, we have two more that we'll do throughout our evening. And so we'll get back to our presentation. Which we can do here. Sorry. Multi-slide. Oh, you got it. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, so we, as Tawny said, right, we have 6 breakout rooms, and we, they are going to be based off of the different topic areas that we've been working through. As well as an Ask Anything. So if you are unfamiliar with Plan Tucson, or you just have like a lot of questions about the process, or you want to know more about that kind of stuff, you can come into our Ask Anything room, and we are happy to answer anything, which is pretty great. So we'll get there eventually, but our first room, right, will be the community resources room. The second will be economic vitality. Our third will be our land use, housing, neighborhoods, and design. And thank you. And then we have transportation, access, mobility. And then I should just know all of them, right? And then water, climate action, and green space. And so we're going to kick it over to Tani to describe how you will actually enter into these breakout rooms.
Okay, so you're going to have 25 minutes in the breakout room. Can you go back a slide? You're going to, right now, pick the 2 that you're most interested in, maybe a third in case a group is just too big. Probably you're interested in every topic, but we really only have time for 2 in depth. And again, there's going to be a survey where you can provide your feedback on all the topics. So if you have it in your mind, now let's go to the next slide. Okay, so I'm going to hit open all rooms, and everybody look to their lower left on your screen near those 3 dots. You're going to see a little pop-up that says join a breakout. And as soon as you see that pop-up, like here in the picture, then then click join on your topic of interest. All these topics are going to come up in the blue button on the right that says join. Just click and you can join. I'll say that right to the left of that is the number of people joining that room. And if you end up getting in a room that's just packed with people, then you can leave the room. In the lower right corner, it'll say leave room. You can come back to the main room where I'm going to be the whole time, and I can put you in a different room. So you can kind of do a little self juggling. Any questions? So again, we're going to do 2 rounds of this. So I am going to, everybody look for the pop-up that's about to come. And if you don't see the pop-up, you can go to those 3 dots and then click on breakout rooms. Here we go.
I'm not seeing any 3 dots.
Do you see something that says more?
No.
In the lower right?
Also in the lower right is leave.
Okay, I'll help you.
Go immediately left of the leave.
I'm seeing an option for breakout rooms as one of the icons. That might be what people see.
You see breakout rooms as an icon, or breakout rooms in your. Okay, so now we're going to get to choose a second choice room, which might have been your first choice. Oh, no.
Sorry. I don't know why it does that.
So this time, because land use has so much interest, we're making 2 land use rooms. Ask Anything is, you don't need that room anymore this second round. So again, and you're welcome to stay in the same room if that's your main interest. We have 25 more minutes, and I'll open the rooms. Again, you can see the list of how many people are in each room. So I might be shifting people a little bit within the land use just to make sure that you are balanced. And I'm going to open all rooms. And again, look for the pop-up on where it says join a breakout. You're going to click on that. Here you go.
I'm sorry, but it's not popping up again. Would you put me in water?
It just clicked now. Do you see it?
No, still not up.
Now?
No.
I see it.
But anybody needs help, I'll put you.
I need to be assigned a room.
Who's speaking?
Water is fine.
Ron, what do you want?
Water is fine.
Hey, Ron, I'll meet you in water.
You. very generous personal donor 2 tickets to an Arizona women's basketball game. And if you have not been before, I highly recommend them. I am a season ticket holder myself and I love them so much. So now I have to move this. Sorry, of course. All right. So for our last wheel spin, it will be
This is a good one.
Bobby Humble, are you here?
Bobby.
Let me see.
I don't think so.
All right. Let's see who will be watching them bang the drum. Colette, are you here?
Colette.
No, go ahead and give it to somebody else. I don't go to basketball games, so please. let somebody else have that.
Are you okay? Are you sure? Going once, going twice.
I'm sure.
Okay.
I am absolutely sure.
I appreciate your willingness to share. How about Stacey Carter?
So Casey had a fire drill and had to leave.
Oh, but I feel like they should still get it.
Yes.
Fire drill isn't their fault.
Right? A fire drill is not their fault. So
give it to Casey. Give it to Casey.
So we will connect with Casey to be able to give those to them. So yes. All right. I can go back on to here. I'm not going to hit the all screen because then it will make me go from the beginning of the slideshow again. I've learned my lesson.
Right. Well, I'll go ahead and just wrap us up. Thank you everybody so much for your time. I know that there was a lot to say and not that much time in each breakout group. So please use our feedback form. It may not be as exciting, but you'll have as much time as you need to craft your feedback in your own words, and we'll be taking it directly from the way you say it. So in many ways, the feedback form is there are some pros to it, so please don't hesitate. I believe the link is in the chat, and we will also be emailing it after, along with our demographic survey. Again, super important to us and our values that we know who's here, so that we know who we're hearing from. Please do find the time to fill that out. It's just it's very short, takes about 5 minutes. If you would like to come back and participate more in person, or if you know someone who would like to, please encourage them to come this Saturday morning, just 2 days away. It'll be in person at the Fred Archer Center. In addition to sort of an open house style conversations, we've also got more prizes to win. There will be flu shots available. There will be food. I heard there's a piñata and excellent bird walks as well. So it's a little bit more of like a party as well as an open house. The link to register is also in the chat, or you can find it on our website. And then lastly, just to recap how all of your feedback will be used, we will be taking all of the conversations today and on Saturday, incorporating it into all of the other feedback we've gotten from working groups to come back with a next set of draft goals. And then once we're confident with moving forward with the key components, we'll be using that to inform some policy decisions. Working groups as well as community forums will have more opportunities to review policy every step of the way. So if you'd like to continue to be involved, please make sure you're signing up for our newsletter. Working groups are open to anyone if that's something that you're interested in. They meet during the day. So let us know if you'd like to participate in those. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much. We will stay on the line a little bit longer for anyone who has additional questions. Otherwise, I hope you have a very nice evening. And thanks for helping with Plan Tucson.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone, for your time and input.